What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 56 of the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we're discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, my ABXY, Arthur. Happy Skyrim Day, my friend.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
I have a friend whose kid, I won't forget their birthday because their kid was born 11/11/11.
Very nice.
So it's just an easy day to remember. And after me talking with Victor today, also, happy Veterans Day.
Yes, yeah. We're recording on 11/11/21. Obviously, because it's the 10-year anniversary of Skyrim, and then also, yes, happy Veterans Day. Even though this will be out after that, but still, we'll give homage. So this is we were recording on Skyrim / Veterans Day, which is a very exciting thing. Before we get started, I want to just let the folks know, because holidays are kind of roaming around, and when the holidays roam around, Gamers for Life gets to take a break. So
it's the holidays.
Yeah.
We take a holiday.
Yeah, so you're getting this episode today, which is great. You're going to get another episode on the 18th, and then we're going to be taking a Thanksgiving break, couple weeks off.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have one episode in December on the 16th. And then after that, we're going to be on a winter break. So when we come back, ideally, we should have some pretty cool stuff for you guys, or at least some visuals or whatnot. Just a couple slight upgrades or whatnot. But we'll be doing a winter break. So again, today, the 18th of November, Thanksgiving break, and then you're going to have one more episode for the year on the 18th of December. So that should be a fun episode there.
Yeah, end of the year.
Yeah, so I won't spoil too much of what we're going to talk about, but good stuff there. And of course, if you would like to check out what's going on in Gamers for Life, be sure to first and foremost like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We'd love to have you here as an advocate, gamer, watcher for Gamers for Life. So be sure to do that on YouTube. We got a lot of fun clips as well. And obviously other full episodes, so be sure to check that out. We'd appreciate your support. And if you want to check out things that, say, Arthur is doing when it comes to managing the Twitch stream, when it comes to just anything else regarding to Gamers for Life, even when it comes to like throwing a couple bucks our way to help out the studio stuff, you can do all that stuff by going to, or if you want to get rid of the cat that we have in our studio, you can do all that by going to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. That is the one-stop link to doing all that. So, and here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links within the description of the episodes. So you can click on the time codes there on Spotify or on YouTube to go directly to the segment that you'd like. So feel free to do that if you'd like to do so. And then obviously, since this is Skyrim Day, we're recording anyway, I wanted to give a little bit of a PTSD flashback on the GameStop. Were you working at GameStop around that time?
Yeah, I was.
So because it's funny, I kind of remember that day. One of the Facebook things kind of flashbacked at me where I took a picture of my 360 sealed copy of Skyrim as I did the midnight launch. What was your experience like during Skyrim for that time?
I don't remember because at the time, that's when I was still like part-time, like 3 days a week. I definitely remember Skyrim was what got me back into open world fantasy RPGs. Because at the time I was still like Call of Duty shooters. This is before I did the switch from Call of Duty to Battlefield. Crisis. Again, just shooters. Yeah. And I was telling my friend, I was like, you know what? I haven't played an RPG in a while. What's one you recommend? And my old college housemate, he was like, hey man, pre-order Skyrim. Like because this conversation took place like a week before it came out.
Yeah.
So like a week before it came out, he's like, you got to pre-order Skyrim, do it. And yeah, I was definitely one of those people that bought the game, turned it on, and no fucking life. Had no fucking life at all. I still remember all the articles that came out.
Yeah.
I still remember the articles that came out of like, hey, Skyrim just dropped, and for these past 2 weeks, Pornhub has seen record low fucking site visits. I just remember that. I definitely remember partying up. It was like me and like 8 of my friends. We're all playing Skyrim. it wasn't cooperative, but we're still just playing the game, talking to each other of like, hey, I'm not gonna spoil it, but visit this town, you get a chance. What happens? I won't tell you. Because to a point, friends usually have a similar play style, and we're all the same thing of like do like a few story quests to get the game going, and then never touch a story again for a while. But like I said, so work wise, I don't remember too much. I was definitely part time, but I just definitely remember playing the game like crazy and thinking how many times my game crashed, or how many times I thought it crashed during the loading screen. Because, it would show like an enemy type and they would stop spinning. And I'm like, did the game crash or is this taking forever? And I'm like, okay, it still worked. It just stopped spinning. I don't know if that was for you, but that was a conversation. That was a conversation I internally or with my friends had a lot of like, so stop spinning, flip of a coin, whether it crashed or it just taking a while to load.
Yeah. It's interesting too, man, because I remember when it comes to the GameStop on my side of the fence, I worked in a small store. It's no longer there anymore in Redlands. But I had a small team. I was kind of managing everything. And I remember it's zipped up, so it's fine if the cat wants to fuck around on that. Okay. But yeah, I remember we had an older guy that was working there on the team, and he was so passionate about Skyrim, unbelievably passionate. Like he got mad reservations. He probably had the highest percentage of reservations because he was such a great salesman.
Oh, he was just talking.
He was just like, dude, like he's like,
you gotta get it.
It takes 3 days it takes 3 full days to go from point A to point B on the map and all this stuff. And this is before even like the expansion packs, but he just was so in love with Skyrim, and it was just such a great day. And remember they had that huge fucking like dragon like mountain
standee thing, the cardboard
the
thing,
deluxe edition or whatever it was.
Oh, the deluxe edition, yeah,
the big ass box. So, and I remember one of my ASMs, Sarah, I think we were working at that store, then she went to the other one, and then she got that big ass legendary edition or whatever it was. But yeah, just a fun day, and then it was really one of the first games where like, we talk about open world RPGs, right? And this is absolutely open fucking world.
It set the bar. Like, as much as I'm critical on where Bethesda is now with stuff. But again, when Skyrim came out, like they were king. Was the game. That was the game to get.
There's nothing like it. It was like, what the fuck?
Like I said, I remember like I said, we were partying up of like we had an Xbox party of like 8 people, and like someone's friend joined in. It's like, yo, what y'all doing? And we're like, oh, we're playing Skyrim. And he's like, yo, that game's cooperative. We're like, no, we're just playing Skyrim, talking to each other. He's like, wait, y'all are playing a single playing game, but you just still hang out talking to each other. Like, yeah. He's like, man, I wish I had gamer friends like that. Because because Skyrim, Skyrim and early Bethesda games definitely set the bar of that phrase of like you can kill hours doing nothing. Like, hey, have you leveled? Like, hey, like I might have leveled up once or twice over the past 2 hours. Like, what'd you do? I'm like, collect butterflies. I collect butterflies. I mined. I got plants.
The books and stuff. Reading those books, the chapters and shit. That was crazy.
Yeah, like the wolf one, the spider queen. Yeah, it was. And it was funny when I was replaying it. Early last year during this when I was playing the special edition. I'm not the biggest into like books and stuff. Like I'm the type of guy where like if there's books, there's like a prompt for next page. I'll just mash it out to see if it levels me up. And then Victor told me if the cover of the book has a symbol, because remember with Skyrim it was all about the constellations. Yeah. And if the book has a constellation thing, it'll level you up.
Wow, so that's interesting.
So for me, with the books, unless I had a constellation, I didn't read it. Like if the cover of the book had the archery symbol, the destruction symbol, conjuration symbol. You know what I mean? For all these powers. But if you read it, it'll level you up. But if it didn't have a constellation, I'm like, moving on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Great stuff there when it comes to the Skyrim. Amazing things there. So one of the first things here on the show, we wanted to dive back into the anniversary edition, which did release today because it's supposed to come out, because it's 10th year anniversary. And not everyone is having the bestest of times. No. So I wanted to read this article here from Gaming Bible, and then also we can have this conversation about it. According to Gaming Bible, talks about this. So it starts here. It says here in quote, "It's not hard to see why Bethesda's 2011 RPG has had an incredible amount of modding potential. Over 3 years, the player has been able to build visual overhauls, new quests, and even entirely new games from Skyrim. Many players have stuffed their Skyrim saves so full of mods that occasionally the games will completely break. And in an ironic twist of fate, Skyrim has now threatened to turn around and break the mods. On November 11th, Bethesda will release the Skyrim Anniversary Edition to celebrate the game's 10th anniversary. Obviously, it's certainly as good as an excuse as any to return to Skyrim, but those special edition developers have warned on Reddit that Anniversary Edition is going to be severely disruptive to the modding community and has urged modders to start backing up content now. Can you say here that Skyrim has decided to update the compiler used to build 64-bit versions of Skyrim in Visual Studio 2015 to Visual Studio 2019? Explained on Reddit, this changes the way that the code is generated in a way that forces mod developers to start from scratch, finding their functions and writing hooks. So, end quote. So one thing I wanted to discuss as far as for the Skyrim Anniversary Edition
Upgrade.
The Anniversary Edition, not the upgrade, kind of mainly talking about what's in the upgrade, right? So, say for those who don't have any mods attached to Skyrim, which obviously is going to be a lower percentage comparative to the general populace. But as far as for what it includes, there's a couple of things that it does include. So it says here, according to the Bethesda website, it says in quote, "The Skyrim Anniversary Edition bundles together Skyrim Special Edition, every piece of the Creation Club content released at the time of the Anniversary Edition. Includes additional quests, armor, gameplay modes." So it seems like the biggest thing here is that Creation Club content. So essentially what that is they're like pre-modded stuff. And it's kind of weird. Like, it's almost like soft mods or just add-on content or whatever to customize. So would it be an official mod? Probably not, but it's just more things that you can kind of customize your character, things of that nature, because of this, this issue with them upgrading some of the code stuff that isn't, compatible with the old mods. So basically, Arthur, we're talking about today earlier, as far as how this sucks for a lot of people, including those that have had the mods from the previous game.
Because a lot of the mods, I was gonna say, because not only is it character stuff, it's graphics. Because there's been a new ongoing trend of like, oh, X doesn't work or X doesn't look as good. Modders, quote unquote, fix it.
Yeah.
So when I was playing the special edition, which is the last one, so the last quote unquote version was a special edition.
Right.
A lot of the mods I have installed are graphic mods, animation mods, like increased animations for kills. Also, they look better because some of them were blocky. More fluid animations and stuff like that, like very aesthetic stuff. Lighting mods, not lightning, but lighting, because Bethesda, because an ongoing glitch in Bethesda's engine that's present in almost all their games is like weird god rays appearing from nowhere. There'll be like a mountain and the god rays are coming through it. So it's like one, you're being blinded to. It's like, why is this mountain a source of blinding light?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing with that's the thing is like, because with this Critter Club, yeah, you can do mods, you do crazy mods like you have a lightsaber, or just basic of, hey, I just want this game to run smoother, and look a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something that's an example of the Critter Club mods. They're all over the place. They can be, again, like, hey, you have, a fucking AT-AT as a horse and Star Wars AT-AT as a horse to, hey, better looking trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that if they dropped the ball on anything, I would say that the communication it seemed like the communication of how they did it was very like not subjective, but just kind of minimal. So they did it to the Reddit community, but then there was like a couple of other articles out. I feel like there wasn't really like huge articles out saying, hey, like, because
warning. Yeah. Like, I feel like they definitely swept under the rug. Mm-hmm. So again, to back up real quick. So again, the biggest selling point for the Skyrim Special Edition was, which is again the last version, was minimal. I will say this, minimal default graphics upgrade, stuff like that. But what was advertised about the Skyrim Special Edition, the biggest thing was the Creator Club, meaning that mods are coming to console. which is a big thing because mods are just on par with PC, but definitely not a console thing. Yeah. So the Creator Club was a big advertising point for the last game, the last version, bringing mods to console. And the Creator Club was again a big advertising point for this upgrade, because they said there's even more content and all this different stuff. So for people like me that just have simple graphic upgrades, at least right now, I can't play this upgrade. I can't play this upgrade without risking my save being deleted. And that was a big problem for me, because for me, to a point, that defeats the whole point of an upgrade. Is like, if your save doesn't work, then the upgrade doesn't work.
No, let me ask you, if you take off the mod, does that affect your save? Like before you download the anniversary edition?
It's spotty. So here's the thing. There's not a hard yes or no, because there are people that are saying, hey, now that this word's out, if I delete mods on my save on the special edition version, and then load the upgrade, I'm fine. But there's also people saying, hey, I did that, it still doesn't work. Like, and so it just sucks for me that, for me, Bethesda, in this case, has taken a step back and gone back to their old days of, hey, it's a Bethesda game, wait for the day one patch. And I thought we were over that. I thought we were beyond that. I know that's a little harsh, but because there's a lot of games even that drop today that still say, let's wait for the day one patch. But again, because this isn't a full game. This is an upgrade, and we've talked about tons of upgrades from Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Morales game, Borderlands 3, and so for me, like you mentioned, the marketing or the advertising on this it's like they swept under the rug. It's like, oh hey, we're talking about mods. Yeah, they don't work and deletes your save. And like I feel like there was no official statement from them. It was just like Reddit or like a handful of small articles like this saying, hey, even though this is an upgrade, your save may be deleted.
Yeah, it's definitely an oversight, a huge oversight, which sucks. Which really sucks. Definitely. I'm kind of one of I'm kind of on the lower, I guess the small percentage of those who didn't get to kind of dive into the mods that much. And I don't blame Todd Howard on this too much. I mainly blame the team, because Todd Howard, he's kind of more so focused on Starfield and for some reason Fallout 76. But
let that game burn.
Yeah, seriously, bro. But yeah, definitely this is a huge oversight that they messed up on. But on the contrary, for me, I'm just like, look, like, yes, this is not an upgrade, but it is a boost from a remaster edition. So the game, it's 10 years old. It's one of those games where they're trying to make it where people can still play it because people are still buying Skyrim. But as far, so if things don't work as planned, to me, it's like, well, it's come to that point where, it's fun playing Skyrim, but it's just like, you can only rely on it so much, I guess, from a graphical sense. But I will say, to your point, those that are, I would say the majority of people that have played Skyrim, because it's so old, they're using their old mods, Yeah. So they definitely need to fix that as soon as possible. So I hope they do, because it's very valid. I was one of just the weird kids that didn't get the chance to do the mods because, it's like the GameStop curse where it's like you want, it's like the adult thing we're talking about where it's like you're so excited to buy games, when you're an adult, but then when you have the games, you can't do it because you're an adult and you work.
Yeah, it's, need job to pay for games. No time for games because job.
Yeah.
and that's another thing I was thinking too, because again, this is an upgrade, so the purpose of it is meant to transfer your save. Again, like I said, imagine the people that have put hundreds of hours into this, then bam, we give a 10th anniversary next gen upgrade, and it deletes your save. And again, as we know, Skyrim is not a short game.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of, I mean, Jesus Christ, a whole lot of shit. A lot of time and hours. Because like for me, it was nice that. I bought the anniversary edition or the little boost on Steam because I forgot that I bought the special edition on PC at like a discounted price during one of the the
mini sales.
Yeah, the mini sales, right? So that helped me out a lot. But once I boosted it up, I was like, oh, I can continue from my old save, But again, I didn't have a highly modded game save. So
yeah, I have about 7 mods, maybe 8, but like I said, they're all graphics and like I said, for me, that's why the special edition. That's why the previous special edition was such a big deal for me. I'm like, because you mentioned mod, because you have PC, so you chose not to mod, or like the option's been there forever.
Yeah.
Whereas mods are not available on console.
Yeah.
And so for a console player to be like, oh, I can use mods. That was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I can finally have Randy Savage as a dragon or Thomas the Tank Engine. But so like I was telling Joe, I was really mad because like saying, like again, we have no time for games. I was gonna play it today before work. My plan was to play it. My plan was to play the game, go to work and record. But then like, oh, I can't play the game now. And like I only have 1 day off this week, so I'm like, oh fuck, let me just wait X weeks or maybe a month, how long this patch will take.
Right.
So again, I was just really mad. I was just really mad because the timing of like we said, as an adult, our window to play a game is smaller and smaller.
Right.
And so it just sucked that I couldn't jump into the game now that one I paid for.
Right.
And then 2, I was really hyped about. The only kind of like catch-22 upside of this is I was joking with you just before recording.
Yeah.
Is I don't know if other people do this, but whenever I play an RPG, I'm always like a stealth sniper. If there's guns, I'm a stealth sniper. If there's like classes or races, like a fantasy game, I'm a stealthy elf archer. And I always do that. But every now and again when I play a game, I tell myself, no, this will be the time I play a game differently. So the only upside with this is I'm still excited to play the game with a fresh look. But now I'm like, okay, so maybe this is the time, since I can't load my save.
Right.
Maybe this is the time I actually start an RPG that's not the same play style. Maybe I'm actually going to be a mage,
right,
or a tanky melee person for the first time, even though I've told myself a million times. Like even when Outer Worlds came out, when I was playing Outer Worlds, I was like, don't be a stealth sniper, don't be a stealth sniper. Fuck, I'm a stealth sniper. so I was really mad earlier when I was talking to you because I was like, I want to play it, like I don't have time, and now I can't. Since then, between hours later, I've been able to sit on it and think more. I'm like, okay, maybe this is the game universe to tell me start a new save as a new character for the first time, for the first time after X amount of games. I've told myself I'll do that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, speaking of special editions or just, other nostalgic things, I should say, when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, the definitive trilogy, that's out, right?
That's out today. I just bought it right before we started recording.
Nice. So, I think you had an article, I think, kind of talking about some of the shenanigans happening, right?
Yeah. So the bundle dropped today.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Real quick, I didn't know the games would not be sold separately, because on a side note, reminder for console, the San Andreas remake is available via Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
And because that game is available via Game Pass, I thought it'll be sold separately, or the bundle to save money. Turns out, no, it's just only the bundle, and we just lucked out and got one of the games sold separately. But
weird.
But because my favorite of the trilogy is Vice City, I'm like, let me buy it. It's $60, but I'm like, you're getting 3 amazing games. And I'm like, that's a good value. Because if you're telling me on face value that Vice City remake sold separately is $20, I'm like, that's a fair price.
Oh yeah,
that's a fair price.
Absolutely.
So $60 $60 for the remake trilogy is fine. But something that made news today is the cheat codes are back.
The old school cheat codes.
The old school cheat codes are back.
Of like
God mode. You could spawn a tank. You could spawn a car. Remember those?
Yeah.
Or what I liked, my old favorite cheat code was Superman mode. I think it was called Superman mode or no gravity. I think it was called one in one game, but something else in another game. But it was the same thing, no gravity. My favorite thing, when there isn't a no gravity cheat, you get a tank, turn the turret backwards, and keep firing, and you just keep flying.
Oh wow!
Because it propels you forward.
That's awesome.
But the story with this I have today with IGN from IGN.com is GTA Trilogy has removed some cheats for technical reasons. And there's nothing really the only thing to quote here. The only thing that's really a quote here is Rockstar has confirmed that it has removed some cheats from the game due to technical reasons, although it's not clear which ones. So the cheats are so people have already discovered that the cheats are there. And once word got out the cheats are there, Rockstar was like, "Hey, there's some that are missing." They haven't stated which ones. The only, again, as you can see, the only reason we know, quote unquote, why, technical reasons. Possibly the coding got lost. And I don't know. I'm just spitballing because that's a phrase we hear more and more with remakes.
Yeah,
like how the Mass Effect Legendary Edition doesn't have one of the DLCs because the code was just lost.
Yeah.
Another example, even in movies, that happens too. I remember. I think it was Cars 2 or The Incredibles 2. Something. It was a sequel. It was a story that trended for a little bit. Same thing. It was like that movie was going to be remade into a Blu-ray edition, but it turns out nobody had the movie, the file. But then one random like intern or like not low tier worker, but I mean like not a CEO or not an executive, but some low, intern or something like that, just happened to have the file on their home computer, and because of that person, they were able to release whatever Cars 2 on Blu-ray. So in the age of remakes, again, coding or losing the file is a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, so the cheat codes are back. Definitely need to Google some of them because I definitely miss spawning the construction, not derby. What do they call derby? Like demolition derby. I miss spawning the demolition derby cars in San Andreas because those things can take a fucking beating before they blow up. But yeah, so the cheat codes are there, but again, some are missing. We don't know which ones, and the loose reason why being technical reasons. And again, that's just me spitballing on the possibility.
Yeah, exactly. It sucks. It sucks so hard, dude, because even for Vice City, you said being available on Game Pass for console, it is not available Game Pass for PC.
San
Andreas, thank you. It's not available on PC Game Pass, which makes me cry in a corner.
I'm like, hey man, cool, thanks Xbox.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too because one of the things is that a lot of these editions, when they make these HD remakes, they delete the older like trilogies and release these HD remakes for $60-$70 or whatever. Now it seems like that's kind of the that's the pattern that a lot of these companies are doing when it comes to these remakes or whatnot. What are your thoughts on that?
It's weird. And I would say arguably it's for the most part isolated to only like 2 or 3 like shit ass publishers.
Yeah.
It's my description of them. It just because I don't know. Like I said, it does suck because it's like hey, because in fact, as of right now, when I went to buy the Grand Theft Auto thing, I searched in the store Grand Theft Auto, and one of the things came up is I own the 360 version of San Andreas. And that's still available, and that's still available right now on my Xbox console. Now, whether it's going to get taken away, I know that was a thing with PC, but just in general, to your comment of publishers removing previous things, that's a dick fucking move.
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think so. It's funny, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but I just saw this. I thought it was funny since we were talking about mod support for Skyrim. Todd Howard reveals that Bethesda Softworks talk about how Starfield will have full mod support.
Sorry. My thing is now to a point whenever I hear like a Bethesda story or a Tom Howard quote, I just mentally end the quote with maybe.
Yeah, I'm so reluctant too because they announced like a couple days ago they were saying how Starfield is actually it's playable, but obviously we're working on it, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Dude, and plus your company has bad fucking press if a good note for your game is it's playable.
Yeah, like we're making progress.
Isn't that the bar fucking minimum? That's like coming out from Carl's Jr. this new burger. Guess what, guys?
You can eat it.
It's edible. Like that's the bar minimum. Like, what about taste? We haven't got there yet. We just made sure you won't die when you eat it. So again, like Bethesda's press or PR with the gaming community is so fucking bad.
It's wild, bro.
It's breaking news. It will work. We're surprised too.
I do think it is like when it comes to Phil Spencer, I know he has like you know, he's got surveillance in fucking Todd Howard's office and just like the team that's working on Starfield to make sure that we don't fucking miss. At least that's the hope and prayer, right? But yeah, I just found this comical, you know, where it's like, yay, but like this is really bad timing.
You know, again,
really bad timing.
Again, for me, that's just how that's me and Todd Howard. That's me. That's my feeling about Todd Howard now. It's like take any Todd Howard quote and just end it with maybe. So again, so I hear that. So I see this article. Starfield will have full mod support. ... Maybe.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see. Yeah.
Oh, and you mentioned something too, Phil Spencer. That's another thing. I was gonna talk about just real quick.
Yeah.
That also made me mad with this fucking upgrade thing. Phil Spencer and Xbox bought you motherfuckers for $7.5 billion. Remember, and I keep bringing it up. Remember, as much money as Disney's making for Star Wars, Microsoft bought Bethesda for twice as much as Star Wars.
Right, which is insane.
So when
it's still insane to think about.
So when you make an upgrade and your save doesn't work, ooh, motherfucker, like, ooh, $7.5 billion? Dude, Phil, you got fucking duped, my guy.
I feel like that shows, this is just a very slight tangent, which I still think it's funny, but it just shows how much George Lucas was just over Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah.
like I feel like he knew that he sold it pretty low to Disney, but he's just like, whatever, I'm fucking done with this.
And again, to just keep that tension going, is like when you see interviews of him, of like, what do you think about the new movies? It's like a one sentence reply, like, I don't like it. Do you want to expand that? No. It's like
I'm going to take a shower. Please get out.
I'm not the director. I don't have to anymore. I don't like it. Do you think it was good? Kinda. It's just like you get a couple syllables out of George Lucas. So
yeah.
So again, so that's, I mean, to a point, that's another reason why I'm so fucking stingy on, again, like Bethesda. It's like, again, one, we are done with the days of Bethesda being synonymous with shit fucking game that doesn't work at gameplay at launch date.
Yeah.
And two, again, on paper, if you're gonna be worth twice as much as fucking Star Wars, you need to fucking deliver, my guy.
Absolutely. And speaking of deliveries, it seems like Battlefield 2042 around the corner is going to be delivered to us shortly.
I thought you said pizza was on the way.
Oh, I know.
I'm so happy.
I wish I said that.
Speaking of delivery, by the way, Arthur, I ordered Domino's.
Boom, son. Yeah, sorry, I didn't, unfortunately.
Clearly, I'm just hungry and just like my ears like. Oh.
You and me both. I feel like I just smelt like pepperoni after I said that. But one of the games coming out this year, Battlefield 2042, obviously, and I found this article, or the title of this article, interesting. I'll read some of it from Games Radar, and it just perked my ears up because I've had this conversation with you before as far as how Battlefield Bad Company 2
is your shit.
Well, that's what got me into Battlefield. And this title of this article, Battlefield 2042 review in progress, the most fun I've had with Battlefield since Bad Company 2. And it starts off here, it says, in quote, while we wait to see how Battlefield 2042 handles in a live environment, our early verdict on the upcoming FPS is in. It says 2042 shows what is possible when developers are free to create with fewer restraints. This is spectacular first-person shooter highlights anything. It's that the disparity between Xbox One, PS4, PC became so vast that it was the beginning to stifle innovation. For 2042, developers at DICE has walled off older systems, refined its focus, and embraced the power of the new generation hardware to deliver an impressive crossplay-enabled multiplayer-only first-person shooter that shows no compromise. Let me just read this last paragraph. It says, for PC, PS5, and Series X owners, the player count has doubled from 64 to 128. Maps are built truly unprecedented scale to accommodate. You're confronted by the impact of innovations immediately as your customizable specialist is airlifted into one of 7 purpose-built combat zones. As you prepare to engage in sort of physics-driven carnage that Battlefield is so famous for engineering, it's difficult not to get lost in the spectacle of it all, end quote. I did read somewhere else as well that the Portal version, or the that gameplay mode, is like amazing. That's the
one where you can kind of create a lobby or a map or a session with multiple generations of Battlefield IPs. The World War II one, I forget if Bad Company 2 was part of it, but Portals, that's a trailer where you saw knives versus defibrillators.
Yeah.
Like you can choose your weapon, you can limit weapons, you can limit vehicles, you can do it, that's the kind of, and that's a fun of all games that have that type of customization, that's an amazing fucking decision to have Battlefield have that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because your crossover to Battlefield was Battlefield Back in Week 2. I took a little bit longer. Mine was Battlefield 4. But even then, even with Battlefield 4, man, to say, hey, you can customize and do all this shit. Like, again, even if they just said only Battlefield 4, of like,
it's a great game too,
dude. That's still, again, that's an amazing franchise.
Yeah. To
have that type of freedom with as much fun these other games have given us, of just, again, crazy balls to the wall shit of like, hey, what'd you do? We put C4 in the bottom of a tank to launch it up to have a jet run into it. Yeah, it sounds alright. Sounds like Battlefield. Yeah, and real quick, speaking of portals and just the gameplay, so there's been a little bit of confusion of like how some people are playing and how some people are not, because we had to Google it.
Right.
Like it was really funny. We Googled it and our answers and our web searches literally had different days. We're like, are you on Bing or something? Like, no, I'm on Google.
Yeah, I was like huh?
Your Google showed November 19th. And my Google showed November 11th. We're just like,
that was wild. Right? Something's wrong with the algorithm. We broke it.
So we had to look into it. And this article from PC Games and Battlefield 2042 release time confirmed. So the short version of it is, if you pre-ordered a gold or ultimate version, you can play it today, November 11th,
nice.
9 p.m. Pacific time.
Nice.
If you did not pre-order it, or you pre-ordered a standard version, November 19th, 9 p.m. Pacific time. And that's why we had different release dates, because I remember I was mixing up my release dates of like, hey, is Battlefield to December or is Halo December? And that's when our literal Googles had two answers. We're like, what the fuck? That's some clarification on that, and to a point why I didn't know the release date, because I was team not pre-order.
Yeah,
because as fun as Battlefield is, as fun as this is, that makes me very happy. That says it's the most fun they've had with it since Battlefield Back on 2. That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Again, I was just still on team no pre-order. Hold the line. Just, it's still EA. Make sure EA doesn't pull on EA.
Yeah.
Because one thing from your article quote that made me happy is developer freedom. Because remember, EA is the publisher. And in terms of movies, it's like, think of like the director and the producer making decisions on this, and then some Hollywood exec comes in and decides to ruin X, Y, and Z. To a point, that's, to many things, that's what EA is known for, to a point.
Yeah.
Is like developers or people making creative decisions want X, Y, and Z. EA steps in and is like, nah, we can't make money off that. No. So to hear from this review is like, this is what happens when you have developers and these teams have creative freedom. That makes me very happy. Again, I do not regret my decision not pre-ordering. I'm not super mad that I have to wait a week to play the game. Again, when it comes to not pre-ordering, I don't regret my decision, because EA, even though EA has made improvements that we've talked about, it's, they have a track record that makes me still questionable about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll see what happens here in the future when it comes to that. I did want to jump back to a very small update here. We had a really sweet episode talking about Apple versus Epic Games and how shitty Apple is. And it seems like there's an update here that occurred a couple days ago that I wanted to highlight. So it says here, according to The Verge, it says the judge orders Apple to allow external payment options for App Store by December 9th, denying stay. And it says that Apple announces that it will appeal. So to apply some clarity on this, it says in quote, Epic versus Apple judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers says Apple must comply with an order to let developers add links and buttons to external payment options, denying the company's motion for a stay. So just briefly to put an insert here, she mentioned this during the trial, and Apple is yet to do it.
Yeah.
So continuing on, it says here, she says, in quote, Apple's motion is based on selective reading of this court's findings and ignores all the findings which supported the injunction, her order reads. Judge Gonzalez-Rogers issued her order after a Tuesday hearing concerning the blockbuster antitrust lawsuit which Fortnite publisher Epic Games filed in 2020, and which went to trial this year. During the hearing, Apple said it needed more time to rewrite all this anti-steering policies, rules that bar app developers from linking to payment methods besides the iOS App Store. And clearly, they're still not done. It says here, And quote, this will be the first time Apple has ever allowed live links in an app for digital content. It's going to take months to figure out engineering, economic, business, and other issues, said Apple attorney Mark Perry. Mark Perry, fuck you. Is exceedingly complicated. There has to be guardrails and guidelines to protect children, protect developers, to protect consumers, to protect Apple. And they have been written into guidelines that explain and enforce and applied. Let's see here. Continuing on, it says Judge Gonzalez Rogers was skeptical of Apple's request, particularly because it asked for an indefinite stay of the injunction, despite saying Apple wanted more time to evaluate risks. You haven't asked for additional time. You have asked for an injunction, which would effectively take years, she said. Get him, Yvonne. Get him, Judge Yvonne. Says here that you asked for an across the board stay, which could take 3, 4, 5 years. Perry responded that Apple wanted to delay changes until the case was resolved, saying that it was confident we're going to win the appeal. And also to add on to this, another insert. Apple fucking basically locked out Epic Games, pulled down Fortnite from the App Store when they were doing this bullshit, and said, oh, you guys can get back here until this is all figured out. And it could take up to 5 years. So finally, Judge Yvonne, she's seeing this bullshit that they're pulling. So she says... It says here, quote, in the article, that didn't sway the judge. In her order Tuesday evening, she accused Apple of wanting, quote, an open-ended stay with no requirement to make any effort to comply, and suggested that Apple has provided no credible reason of the court to believe that the injunction would cause the professed devastation, end quote. With regard to the company's argument that would be harmed by adding external links to alternate payment methods, systems, and then apps. And let's see here. So basically... I don't want to read all of this, but they got till December 9th, according to the judge, and I'm really glad that she's on their ass, bro. Good. Because they've been able to go around everybody. These are superpowers of the world. You know, we're talking about Apple here. So when your superpowers of the world turn out to be kind of shitty people, you know, they have these loopholes. You know, they're the loophole masters. So thank God for Judge Yvonne for, you know, following up with them. That's saying, good. Hey, what the fuck? You guys have till December 9th. Cut the bullshit. You know what I mean? And then this fucking Apple attorney is like, well, it's complicated. I'm like, well, it's not that complicated to rip people off now, isn't it? Yeah. It's not that complicated to pull Epic from the fucking store. Like,
I still remember doing a trial. Like I said, there was that one workout app guy that just gave testimony of facts, and all of a sudden suddenly, oops, your app won't work on your app won't work on our store for at least a month.
Exactly, bro.
Like, God damn, dude. Like,
exactly.
I'm so, you know, and again, you know, like I said, powers that be, you know, Tim Cook. I still remember Tim Cook had the balls during this trial to go on a rant, a soapbox, how the world is better because of Apple, and it's like, there's a couple of Chinese workers that'll disagree with you. So, I mean, like I said, for him, you know, fucking, so that's the attitude of Tim Cook. You know, that's the attitude of Tim Cook. Hey, I know I'm being sued. Can we just pause? The world is better because of us. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, and for context to what Arthur said, if people don't know this by now, there are many people working in labor in China that have killed themselves due to high pressurized work environments, them being on their feet for 12 hours a day, making over 100,000 iPhones per hour. It's
They live in their factories. Their factories have been converted to dorm factory hybrids. They cannot leave their building. Yeah. They cannot leave the building. They live where they work. Yeah. And like living, and like on paper say live where you work, but at least you can go outside. No, they cannot go outside. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the reasons why I don't have an Apple device.
And one of the main reasons why when people are like, yeah, this is fair trade coffee. Well, you still have an iPhone, so.
Yeah. So, speaking of just well, in baseball, when something goes wrong, this is a black day for baseball, and I don't know what the origin of that is, but to steer over Black Friday deals.
Yeah, I'm like, how is he gonna transition that? I'm like,
it was a hard one. I don't even know if I got the point for it, but
hey man, I don't know. Any like pre-transition. Any opportunity to shut an Apple, I'll fucking take it.
and the opportunity to get a good deal on some games or whatnot, absolutely, I'll take it. I'll take that as well. So you're kind of leading the pack on this, or I'd like for you to. I know you brought this up. This is a phenomenal idea. Mentioning some Black Friday deals here. Now, I do want to caution everyone, as far as for what we're reading, this is as of right now of what we're reading as far as for these deals, doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, price is guaranteed, stock guaranteed. We're just reading literally what the article is saying as of this moment. So just keep that in mind, please. I don't want you to watch this and say, Gamers for Life told me this and it's wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, I don't want you to bug a retailer and be like, they said this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's one thing worth noting too. I'm looking at the actual stores. Like I'm looking at the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, and Nintendo Store. And the reason I'm looking at those is, I don't know about you, but I don't like the thought of being trampled to save $50.
Yeah.
So that's again. So there are a few. Now there are a few retailers like Walmart that have released their Black Friday deal. Target and other ones are about to be either announced or leaked. Because I remember that. That was around the time we were working. It was when the phrase was leaked. Now it's just announced. Because to a point, if you're a retailer, and Black Friday is arguably one of the highest, if not the highest, sale day of the year. Again, before we would say, oh, GameStop Black Friday deals got leaked.
Yeah.
Walmart deals got leaked. Now they're just openly announcing it ahead of time, which I think is smart.
It's very smart. I think to me, it's like these people don't even have a choice at this point. I remember the traditional Black Fridays, when people would literally fucking be lined up before Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And and that has obviously dwindled. So you got deals coming out, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving,
And the cool thing is, I mentioned last week how scalping is thriving because of how popular online shopping is. When it comes to Black Friday, I definitely advertise. When it comes to Black Friday or Cyber Monday, there's a new. I do want to mention this, though I'm forgetting what it's called.
Oh.
There's a new trend I do like. We couldn't have it last year because of COVID. But there's now like shop local Saturday or something like that, where like the Saturday after Black Friday, it's trends that people just like buy local, like rather than any of the big companies like Amazon, Target, Walmart, to just give the local businesses that love and sport and business as well.
Is that a Long Beach thing, or just certain cities do that?
No, I mean it's just an online hashtag trend thing.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Which I do like.
That's great.
I don't always pay attention to like the hashtags, but I think that one again. I think now it's again shoppable. It's either a Saturday or it's either the Saturday or Tuesday, because I know Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is my birthday.
Yeah,
coming up. I know like Tuesday and or Saturday became shopping days too.
Yeah.
I forget why. I think Tuesday's like the last minute day of like just quote unquote last minute Black Friday deals. And I think Saturday, again, don't quote me, but I think Saturday is the trending day to quote unquote like shop local or something like that.
Nice. So
real quick into these deals again. Like I said, I'm not a fan of being trampled to save $50. I'm a fan of South Park, and I still love South Park's depiction of Black Friday. When it was like Game of Thrones, they were pairing Game of the Thrones with like holding the line against the White Walker zombies that were the Black Friday shoppers. It was like some newscaster. It's like, what do you think about Black Friday today? There will be blood. We will feed. We will kill. Like,
that's hilarious.
And I'm like, and it's like standing in line. It's it's like you're standing in line for Black Friday, and it's like, oh, this is a family event. I don't know why people bring their kids to Black Friday. Like, how many years do you have to go with? And this year's death toll, 15. It's like, I can't wait to bring my kid.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I'm looking at the stores. Yes, retailers having online sales as well, but they're not all out yet.
So what do you got for me?
So far nothing really jumps out. Nothing is really jumping out at me. When it comes to PlayStation, I think across the board right now, like at least what I'm seeing for PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, there's only a handful of like actual giant sales that are beyond 50%. Because I think for me, like when I hear the phrase Black Friday, I'm looking for like that 60%, 80% thing versus like a 50% sale. That a 50% sale is like a random weekly deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll read a couple things off because we're talking about it.
I know. So in terms of like new games that you might be waiting on for sale on the PlayStation Store, Back for Blood's $10 off. Hades, which had a console launch, is only $20 now.
Okay.
One game that I've heard good things, but just hasn't really kicked to be like a quote unquote like main AAA game, but like it's just been pushed aside. Immortals: Phoenix Rising is only $17 in the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
That's the game I told you that was stupid because Monster Energy drink sold them.
Yeah.
Because this is Immortals: Phoenix Rising is the open world, like Greek mythology game.
Right.
It's a kind of on par with like God of War meets Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
It looks really good, but I just feel like it hasn't hit its mark. Like I haven't heard like horrible like Metacritic rave bomb reviews. No, it's getting good reviews. It just hasn't. I just feel like it hasn't got like those articles that's like you need to play this.
This
game.
is amazing. Yeah.
But again, I've heard nothing but good things. Spider-Man Game of the Year edition is $30.
Nice.
Mass Effect Legendary is $40.
That's a good deal.
Newer game Resident Evil Village, $40. Riders Republic, again, that's another game I've heard really good things. Riders Republic, remember during the E3 launch, during the E3 of Xbox, or maybe this might have been Ubisoft, I forget. But Riders Republic was that one that it was Ubisoft. Riders Republic is the one that you can like be biking, hit a jump, and like mid jump, put on your wingsuit and then fly, and then take off your wingsuit and snowboard.
Oh wow,
that's the one that was like really interactive and immersive, quote unquote sports game.
Okay.
I can't think of the phrase for that.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, so Red Republic, $50. Tales of Arise, if you're into JRPGs, Tales of Arise being one of the newest ones, $50. There's a few other games on sale, like sports games. Sorry. I'm not gonna.
We can skip those.
Like, ooh, EA has Madden on sale. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For Xbox, a game that, again, for me, that looked really good. It had all the right tick marks to be a successful game, but I don't know if it's because of like launch window or something. It's not doing as strong. Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Oh yeah.
Aliens Fireteam Elite.
Did they add the
cross play? No.
They didn't add that yet?
Not yet.
Damn it.
That's $26. So that's cross. Wait, or did we get back? No, we got
cross gen, right?
No, we had it backwards.
Cross gen.
There is cross gen, but no cross
play. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember that?
About, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, PC is like no gameplay.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why we got upset is because there's cross gen, meaning if you have the Xbox One, or if you have the Xbox Series X, you can play with your friends the Xbox One, but there's no cross. Fuck, what's the phrase?
Crossplay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mixing myself up now. There's no cross.
Don't cross the streams. Yeah.
There's no crossplay to play with your PC buddies yet, which again,
Big
sort of
deal.
becoming the norm, especially if you're a Microsoft customer.
Absolutely.
Biomutant, that was another open world RPG. Remember Biomutant was the game that was delayed for a long time.
Ah, yeah.
It had like the one-eyed squirrel thing.
Yeah.
With a giant berserker sword.
How much is that one?
$37.
Okay, that's not bad.
Another game that's getting a lot of traction after launch. I'm hearing really great things about Control, the Ultimate Edition, $26.
I played a little bit of that. It's a good game. It used to be on Game Pass. I think they removed it, but it's a good title.
Yeah, that's another game that's like one of my to-do lists because again, that was one of the games I was looking into, but again, launch day was with other stuff, and I'm like, I can't give it the love it deserves.
Yeah.
The Crash Bandicoot 4, the new one.
That's a good deal.
That's on sale for $42. Like I said, nothing crazy, major, massive sales, but still worth it.
Yeah.
A game you spoke about last week when we were talking about GTA, LA Noire, $22.
Hey, dude, play a little bit of it. I think you would really like it. It's pretty good. I know we have a million things we're playing, but
I know. As we're talking about all 3 GTAs and Skyrim came out today, and that's the other thing too. I haven't finished Far Cry 6.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I'm still playing it. It's just. Game ready, DD.
Yeah, no, this is the time of the year for it. You know, it's funny. I feel like this is definitely the opportunity where even if you don't play it, if you get it at a cheap price, like Black Friday is amazing for that. You know, if you can get it where you're not paying a whole bunch, but at least you got it cheap, you set it aside, grind through what you're going through right now, then you can circle back and say, oh yeah, I forgot I was playing this, so that's kind of how I approach Black Friday.
Yeah.
Especially for games that I missed, or I'm just like, fuck, I forgot, like I didn't get to play this game, so.
Because that's something that Black Friday, like, that is a good thing to either catch up or like, hey, I know I won't play this game for a month, or 2 months, but since I bought it half off, I'm still, I'll be saving. A game that was just removed from Game Pass that I talked about for a while, Monster Hunter World, $21.
Okay, that's a great deal.
That's a cooperative one, and if you like Dark Souls, play it. Because the way one of my friends described Monster Hunter World is super accurate. It's like Animal Boss Fight the game. It's like almost every enemy is a boss upon itself. As you level up your armor, your health, and your stats, and your gear, that boss might downgrade to a mini boss. But again, it's a really good way to describe it. Something that I see that I might be getting today. Red Dead Redemption 2, half off, $30.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's an amazing game.
Again, in terms of new games, Resident Evil Village, $50, $10 off.
Nice.
Another Game Pass game that just got taken off Game Pass. Actually, there's two. Warhammer Vermintide 2, $25. Remember that
first person? Was it the first person shooter?
It's not really a shooter. So Warhammer Vermintide 2. Remember I said how Warhammer made their IP free?
Yeah.
And that's why there's a million games coming out like, oh, this is Warhammer plus Doom.
Yeah.
This was the one that was Warhammer plus Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay. So this one was FPS. This version.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Got it.
The reason I paused on shooters because it's fantasy, so there's bows.
There's a million versions of it, right?
Yeah. The shooter was the only reason why I paused. It's like there's like swords and crossbows.
It's so much more.
Well, because that's the thing that confuses a lot of people too is there's Warhammer and Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K is the futuristic one. Warhammer is the fantasy one.
Nice.
Or there's like fantasy and sci-fi fantasy, I should say.
And how much was that one?
This one's $25.
Okay. Interesting.
Definitely play it.
Interesting.
Definitely play it. Like I would argue this. I would argue this game feels more like Left 4 Dead in terms of sheer gameplay. Just in terms of just taking out massive hordes and taking out massive hordes with special types of enemies, stuff like that. I would argue this actually feels more like Left 4 Dead 2 than Back 4 Blood.
Jeez. Yeah, Back 4 Blood's getting the short end of the bloody stick here. Seems like these days.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it just in passing.
Yeah.
On a previous episode, Left 4 Dead 2, currently, or at least at the time, 2 weeks ago, Left 4 Dead 2 had twice as many players as Back 4 Blood.
Dude, this is why I'm so skeptical on these multiplayer first person shooters. It seems like people just can't. There's just if they don't do it right, people they leave it in a short period of time. So at least this was on Game Pass for Back 4 Blood. But I'll mention briefly the Steam sales. Even though you guys know my relationship with Valve, if you don't, I'm really angry at them for not releasing Half-Life 3, but so is everybody else at my age. But I do like a good Steam sale every now and again. So they have the Steam Autumn Sale, which is going to be going live November 24th through the 30th of this year. So definitely keep an eye on that if you're a PC gamer. And then also the Winter Sale will be kicking off on the 22nd of December through January 5th of 2022. So those are the days. The dates, be sure to mark your calendars on that if you do like picking up a pretty sweet game for cheap, adding to your library that you haven't gotten around to and want to get at a cheap price. That's definitely my bag, and that's how I got the Skyrim Special Edition. Got it for like, I don't know, super cheap compared to how much it was. So there's that. Was there anything else we missed maybe?
There's a handful of Nintendo games, but again, honestly, just it's not to sound wrong, but Nintendo is not synonymous with sales.
Yeah, especially for the new, these Bluetooth controllers that they are released, right? There's no sales on those, right?
No, and remember, thanks to scalpers.
If you find a regular price,
the N64 controller's out until 2022.
That's right. Yeah, so that's definitely not happening.
A handful of things I will say. Now, the one thing real quick, as I'm reading off on the GameSpot.com, that's where I'm reading this from. They're listing these sales prices. These are from the actual sites. Like, this is not Steam, this is not Epic. This is from the actual site. Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition, $4.
Oh wow. How about Baldur's Gate 3? Do you have anything on that?
At least not on sale here.
Okay, got it.
Chivalry 2, that new it's like the new
medieval one, right?
battle game, $32. Dishonored 2, $13. Devil May Cry 21. Let me see if there's anything that's Monster Hunter World, $26 there. And that thing I think is cross-gen. I think it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say so, yeah.
Oh, shit.
The Ascent, fun game, $22. Zombie Army 4 Dead War. That's the zombie horde mode game, but from the makers of Sniper Elite. $15.
Nice.
Also, I forget which version. I think the vanilla, not with DLC, unless it's been removed. But I checked weeks ago and it wasn't then. The vanilla Zombie Army 4 is on Game Pass. I can't speak for PC, but it might be worth looking.
Okay.
It is on Game Pass and Xbox. But yeah, and like I said, that's as of now.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee, because that's been every year, 1 day, maybe 2 day sales day of Black Friday.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. Even though 2/3 of this I'm reading from the actual store, the Sony PlayStation Store, and this is on the Microsoft Store. Again, it just is Black Friday. It's one of those things where if you pop on the Microsoft Store or the whatever store day of, you're gonna see new deals.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a little pessimistic about these, because I'm like, hey, this game's $60. It's on sale for $50. That does not sound like a Black Friday deal.
Yeah, it doesn't make me want to rush out of the couch and get out of the house and drive down and buy it.
So keep an eye on those. Like we said, other retailers will announce it, possibly change it. These digital stores absolutely will change, because I've had Xbox for years, and again to say, hey, Black Friday special, $10 off. I'm like, no, that might be worth waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's very interesting there, man. And then I guess to wrap up the show, our good friend that we've mentioned on the show a few times, good old our buddy Victor, he'll be in the streets of Long Beach a little bit, right? As he's back from from Japan for a bit before he goes back.
He's in the army.
Yeah.
He's in the army. He's getting the transition bases to here stateside. And yeah, he's gonna be here for Thanksgiving and here for a few weeks. So
nice.
we definitely need to do some gaming. Definitely a few days of not sober. Hanging out, doing the thing. It's really funny. One game day we have planned is we have to be at least one of the collectively 12 fucking Lego games we bought. I've mentioned a story before where short version, the WB Games was going under, so they had a huge sale. We bought a bunch of the Lego games because Lego games have been cooperative online. Yeah. And after I bought like 6 games, he bought like 6 games. We realized, wait, if the developer's going under, fuck, no one's maintaining the servers. Lego games as of right now are couch coop only. And that was after I bought 6 and he bought 6, and it's like, fuck.
Dang.
So when he's in town, we're like, hey, to get our money's worth, we definitely have to be at least one.
Nice. If you guys can, you should do a stream. That'd be fun. Twitch stream on it.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, we'll probably time it right, because by then hopefully I have a couch.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, anything lastly before we close out? Seems like we hit the meat and potatoes, so to speak. Unless there's something that along the.
I should be streaming more. I've had some schedule changes that's been left me kind of tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That limbo where you come home and you're not tired enough to fall asleep, but you're definitely too tired to play games. So just kick up your feet and
felt that.
And watch the same show you've seen for the millionth time.
Absolutely felt that.
And so yeah, but with the GTA drop and with the Skyrim drop, I'll probably be streaming something along the line. And it sucks because telling you I want to stream Vice City, but I forgot when it comes to GTA and other games that have in-game music, you can't stream that, or you have to mute the music.
Oh man!
Which sucked because I was at work literally listening to some of the soundtracks Iran, which is funny.
Great song.
I've seen a flock of seagulls in concert. So
nice.
I was hyped for Vice City and to stream Vice City because the music, and I texted you. I was like, wait, if you stream GTA, can you stream the radio, or do you have to mute it? You're like, nah, you definitely gotta mute it. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it sucks.
Is the fucking music.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is blow hard ass. Definitely. So.
Well, like I said, who flip a coin if it comes up tails, I might play Skyrim and actually not be a stealthy sniper.
Yeah.
Which is something I haven't been in RPGs forever. Like even Kingdoms Amalur, stealthy fucking archer. So
Nice.
to fight something up close with melee weapons, what's that? Something I don't know.
Exactly. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here at the Games for Life podcast again each and every Saturday, discussing all things games. Again, next week will be, you'll have a show for you, but after that, Thanksgiving break, and then the last episode of the year will be on the 16th of December. We'll have a winter break, and we'll be back in 2022 sooner than later. But again, my name is Jarrell, and my co-host, Arthur Thomas. All right, thank you guys. We will see you next week.